Warning, the podcast you're about to hear has a unique conservative perspective and may be politically incorrect, containing some controversy in its message. This episode may speak out against liberalism, socialism, the dark state, and religious organizations. It is possible that evil in politics, education, law, society, and religion will be discussed and exposed. However, we believe this podcast adds truth and value to a mature, disenfranchised audience who may be tired of apostate religions and wicked world systems. Listeners who are easily offended, overly sensitive, or have progressive leanings sympathetic to the topics we expose should be forewarned not to listen any further. We thank both those who choose to listen as well as those who choose not to listen. You've been warned. And now, let us get on with the show.
Hello, Ms. KAPOW.
Hello, Brother KAPOW. How are you?
I'm fine. You're on the air.
Of course I am.
Mm-hmm.
Shammy, shammy, shammy.
Oh, man. There's so much disgusting stuff to talk about.
I know. It really is evil stuff. Evil.
Yeah. We truly are at the end of the age. We have to be. Where can it go?
I don't know.
It ain't going to get better.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah. You know, and I think everybody listening, I mean, you know what's going on around the world. I mean, globally, the weather. Oh, my goodness. I mean, is there a place on the globe that doesn't have like major flooding somewhere, you know, in a state somewhere or a province?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, it's incredible. You got volcanoes going off, earthquakes, floods, hurricanes.
Hurricane.
Crazy stuff, man. Unprecedented, crazy stuff. United States is blanketed in snow. Canada's blanketed in snow. Early snow, October. Farmers have lost crops. It's a picture of doom and gloom.
Definitely.
Doom and gloom.
Definitely.
But we have to have hope in what, Ms. KAPOW?
In Christ Jesus.
Yeah, and our future redemption. Because this is, it's bad down here. It's going crazy. So, with all the natural stuff happening, you would think that the humans would wake up a little bit and go, oh, maybe we should get our, spiritual life together. But they don't.
No, what they're interested in is escaping from the things that are on this earth.
Yeah.
All their troubles, all their woes, all the things that are happening on the earth is just too much for them. So they're looking for an escape, but instead of putting their trust in the Lord Jesus, they're putting their trust in other things that are only temporal.
The other thing they do too is, it's part of escapism, is just the total distractions of everything.
Yep, that's another form of escape.
Yeah, just everything's distracting. Here in America, I mean, we got every day there's something going on with the White House and the media and some kind of weird distraction. It just cracked me up today. I was reading about Kanye West visiting Trump and how all the the liberals, their heads were exploding. There's popping off their heads. And I'm thinking, man, no one gets it that all this is that, that Hegelian dialect. It's just that we against them opposing views. And it's just a huge distraction while all this other stuff is going on around us.
Well, it's very Enochian, meaning that they're devouring one another.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we just have to sit back and watch them just
they do.
destroy each other.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Just amazing. It's like that feud with, what's her name? Asia Sargento or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's feuding now with Rose McGowan. They're both nut buckets.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They're both nuts. And so you got
I didn't know they were feuding.
Oh, yeah. Because Rose said something about Sargento's 17-year-old lover, back when, did something, and then hashtag you're a liar and hashtag this, and and they're both crazy creatures. And so it's fun from these seats to kind of watch them all go nuts. Anyway, on with the show, Ms. KAPOW, because we know how crazy it is.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about Baphomet in a new light. It's
I don't like Baphomet.
Yeah, I hate Baphomet. Baphomet, as you guys know, it's both male and both female. The satanic, reproduction of Satan himself, both male and female, androgynous, androgyny, transgenderism, drag queens, dykes, whatever, LGBTQ, PRS, 1, 2, 3, Baphomet, Satan. It's the destruction of God's image in the human, the whole bit. But this is a whole different take on it because scientists are trying to create Baphomet mice, literally. Mm-hmm. Kind of an interesting article. And then we're going to talk about these witches. Now, witches, real witches, have a code. And they don't do the code because they're moral. They do the code because they know what can happen. But their code is they generally don't send out evil hexes and things like that on other people. Real witches, right? Real people that really into this because they know it'll come back to them.
Sevenfold.
Yeah, it'll come back to them. Real witches. Now, stupid people playing with magic and witchcraft are idiots. So they'll do stupid things and then, of course, get caught in their own trap. So we're going to talk about stupid witches and what they're doing with what they're doing in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's frogs falling from the sky, apparently, in Charlotte, North Carolina, from the hurricane. So there's people that have frogs on their faces. That's not good. And then this is just kind of, this story here is just about the brain dead human race. And there's a sign in a Florida convenience store that tells the customers not to microwave their urine. So here we go. And then the last one is super gross. Diners eat a 2-course meal right before the dissection of a human corpse, but it is a replica of a human corpse that's dissected. Can
you imagine?
Yeah, and I read this article and I just can't. I don't get. I don't understand why they're doing this. In the real sense, I don't know what the purpose is. But anyway, it just shows. We're due for a reboot. You have to reset the computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need a reset here. It's over. So you have a scripture, Ms. KAPOW?
I sure do.
Right on.
Let me get it on here. It's Ephesians 5, and I'm going to read from verse 1. Therefore, be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love, just as Christ also loved you and gave himself up for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God as a fragrant aroma. But immorality or any impurity or greed must not be even named among you, as is proper among saints. And there must be no filthiness and silly talk or coarse jesting, which are not fitting, but rather giving of thanks. For this you know with certainty, that no immoral or impure person or covetous man who is an adulterer has an inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and God. Let no one deceive you with empty words, for because of these things the wrath of God comes upon the sons of disobedience. Therefore do not be partakers with them, for you were formerly darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. For the fruit of the light consists in all goodness and righteousness and truth, trying to learn that what is pleasing to the Lord. And do not participate in the unfruitful deeds of darkness, but instead even expose them. For it is disgraceful even to speak of the things which are done by them in secret. But all things become visible when they are exposed by the light. For everything that becomes light or becomes visible is light. For this reason it says, Awake, sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. Therefore be careful how to walk, not as unwise men, but as wise, making the most of your time because the days are evil. So then do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is, and do not get drunk with wine, for that is dissipation, but be filled with the Spirit, speaking to one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody with your heart to the Lord, always giving thanks for all things in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ to God, even the Father, and be subject to one another in the fear of Christ.
Amen. And you really can't say anything else but that. That covers it all. Great exhortation and beneficial word to us all. Correct?
Yes.
You know, there's some scientists out there, and they're doing just what Christ said was going to happen. He said prior to the end of the age, it would be just like the days of Noah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he mentions how, people just doing their own thing and they're eating and drinking and all this stuff and don't know when the flood comes and it takes them away. But you have to also realize that right before the flood, you had the fallen angels mating with the daughters of men. And they were corrupting all the way. We talked about this a couple of Mondays ago when we talked about Enoch. And they corrupted all their way. And violence was on the earth. And we talked about that word violence.
Mm-hmm.
What it would mean injustice, unjust practices and, things like that. And what they did also is they corrupted animals.
Yeah.
They corrupted animals also.
Everything that had seed.
Yeah, everything. So God destroyed, all these corrupted creatures, and man was corrupted and evil continually. So keep that in mind as you hear this story about the days of Noah and how they corrupted everything. So we have scientists today.
Mm-hmm.
These brilliant people are doing the same thing. I mean, the same thing. And it also ties into Baphomet because it's this whole gay, transgender, transhuman, trans species, whatever. This whole thing, everything that's against God's order is what this is about. So they're rewriting reproduction, or they're trying to rewrite reproduction using stem cells and CRISPR. CRISPR is the DNA editing techniques that they use. So what they're doing is they're breeding mice with same-sex parents. Okay, so in other words, they want 2 male mice to have babies, and they want 2 female mice to be able to have babies without the other gender.
That's right.
So that goes right with today. That goes right with the transgenderism. It goes right with the LBGTQ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 agenda. It goes with all this nonsense. It's just like the days of Noah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Baphomet, right, Ms. KAPOW?
That's right.
It's Baphomet. It's androgynous Satan. Both. He wants to corrupt, and he doesn't want to. He already has corrupt the image of God.
Yep.
All life is corrupt.
Mm-hmm. And bypass God. Basically telling him, we don't need you. Look what we can do.
Yeah, we don't need your nature and your laws and the things you put in place. We're doing our own thing. So this is the first time that scientists, and this is in China, they said that they bred mice with 2 genetic fathers. And they steered around biological hurdles that would otherwise prevent same-sex parents from having offspring. Now, that opening line right there sounds like they actually did that. But as you read on, you realize this is kind of a bunch of malarkey. Because they really didn't quite do that. They weren't successful at it, I should say. They are trying, though. So what they're claiming is that they did breed mice from 2 genetic fathers. Yay! So that same-sex parents in the future can have kids. See, this doesn't make sense. 2 males.
Yeah.
There's 2 males swap and spit with each other, and they're expecting one of those males to have children without a female. So this doesn't make sense. So there's 2 females doing whatever the lesbians do, and expecting them to have children without the male.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah, it's a Baphomet. And it's totally against God's natural laws. And it's anti-God, anti-Christ. And it's in the days of Noah. That's what they were doing before. So the researchers bred mouse pups in the past using 2 genetic mothers. We'll get to that later because there's more to that too. And the article says those pups matured into adults and then had pups of their own. Mm-hmm. And that outpaced previous efforts to create so-called bimaternal mice. But there is more to that. So if you just read that line, it sounds like they were successful in that also. Mm-hmm. So the senior author of the study, his name is Wiley from China, from the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Wiley Coyote. He says that this research that they did shows what's possible. Mm-hmm. And for now, the notion of reproducing the experiment in humans is more of a matter of science fiction and science. But it's a new study which appeared in, I guess this is a journal, Stem Cell. Mm-hmm. I never read it.
Yeah.
He says, does not indicate that researchers can now or could anytime soon pull off a similar feat with people.
But
wink,
you know
wink.
that they're doing that.
Yeah. Wink, wink. Now, here's where we get to the crux of the thing. And then you realize, oh, it's just not that simple, but they're trying to do this. The cells used to make the mouse embryos were profoundly manipulated.
There it is.
And there it is right there. That's the key. The cells were profoundly manipulated. They're genetically modified and manipulated to make this thing work.
Witchcraft.
Yeah, exactly. Witchcraft, Baphomet witchcraft. It's satanic. And the whole goal here is so that gay people and same-sex partners can have kids one day. Totally satanic. Mm-hmm. The vast majority of the embryos that they created did not result in births. And none of the bipaternal mouse pups, the two male mice, none of them survived to adulthood.
See.
So I wouldn't say that was highly successful. Instead, a lot of outside researchers said that it sheds light on the underlying biology that foils mammals from spinning off offspring without sexual reproduction, like unlike some reptiles, fish, amphibians, and they say are capable of asexual reproduction. And so this is, if we can hone in on that, then we can take that and then modify it and put it in a human, and then two gay guys can have kids. I don't know where a gay guy's going to have a baby from.
I know. Well, they probably just have to cut it open.
Yeah, because he's not built with any of this stuff. Mm-mm. But hey, whatever. So this researcher from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, I'm not a Kabbalist, says it really opens up your imagination for what you can do in mammals. Mm-hmm. Just like the days of Noah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Their imagination is continually evil.
Continually evil. They won't stop thinking about evil. So it goes on and goes on, and all this stuff is kind of like scientific mumble jumbo. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the basic idea is they're trying to fool or trick or cajole certain maternal genes to act like paternal genes in terms of their activity, and then vice versa. And back in 2004, some Japanese researchers created some mice with two mothers by toying with imprint signals. But only one of the 10 mice born in that study, now check this out of more than 400 embryos, grew to adulthood.
Well, the odds are not real good on this.
No. And then what they did is that they took that, those mice that survived, and then they mated them with regular mice and then had kids. Saying, well, see, we can keep doing that. The problem is you don't know. You've already screwed up the genetics of the parents. Mm-hmm. So you don't know what you're passing on.
That's just it.
I don't think they care, but they, go on anyway. Let's see. So what they did is, on this one, the scientists used CRISPR, and they tried to fool the male DNA into thinking it was female DNA, and they did all this Baphomet stuff. Mm-hmm. And but only 12 of the bipaternal mice out of 477 embryos, by the way, were born. So I don't know what the percentage, that's pretty low. Mm-hmm. And out of those 12, only 2 survived more than 2 days. None reached adulthood. And then the researchers measured the gene activity of the pups and found that some of the imprinted genes were not being expressed as if they had been inherited maternally. So they're having trouble playing God, but they're trying. Mm-hmm. and this is all witchcraft from the stars, alien technology that they're trying to do. Anyway, that's Baphomet right there under science.
Yeah, and towards the end of the article, it says, beyond the technical, legal, and ethical roadblocks that would prevent this type of research in people, they have pointed to another concern. And they said, the researchers created, let's say, a daughter from 2 mothers or 2 fathers, and if she were healthy and had children of her own, it is unknown what genetic ramifications might be passed onto the next generation, which you said earlier. In this study, for example, the female mice born with 2 genetic mothers were later mated with regular males, and they produced 22 pups from 6 litters, and 13 grew into adults themselves, but 9 died soon after the birth.
Wow. They keep trying, though. And for what? So same-sex partners can have kids without the other gender. Wow.
Yeah.
Good deal.
They just want to play God.
They do.
You know what I mean? And then the sad thing is these things that are resulted from those experiments.
Yeah.
You know, God only knows how they're suffering.
I know.
That's what...
Yeah, we're not even dealing with the animals that they're experimenting with.
Annoys me.
Know. Yeah, it is just like the days of Noah. It certainly wasn't like this, 20 years ago. And here we are at the end. Here's some more stupid people. They're not scientists. They're witches.
Manipulators.
The manipulators. They like to manipulate. All manipulation is witchcraft, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. These witches want to hex Justice Kavanaugh in an occult ritual in New York City.
On October 20th.
Isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm. And they're going to do it, I guess Catland Books is sponsoring this ritual.
That's Brooklyn's premier occult bookshop, by the way, and spiritual community space. A bunch of weirdos. Well, they put this on, they advertised it on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And they said, please join us for a public hex on Brett Kavanaugh upon all rapists and the patriarchy at large, which emboldens, rewards, and protects them.
So that means everybody included.
Yep. Ritual to hex Brett Kavanaugh. So this is a bad thing. They want to hex him. They want to curse him and hex him. Now, a real witch, people really into this, understand that law comes back to them, right? And as they play with these demons, they understand the power of it. These phony New Age Wiccan, girly people, they don't know what they're doing. And they'll find out pretty soon what's going to happen. Because they're messing with these powers that they have no knowledge of the power
and
that
they
they're
think
dealing with.
Are in control, but they're not.
Yeah, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. And these demons, especially today with all the protections gone from people, these demons are just going to flood right in, take right over them. It's going to be quite something. So it goes on and says, we are embracing witchcraft's true roots as the magic. That's MAGIK. The magic of the poor, the downtrodden, and the disenfranchised. And its history is often the only weapon, the only means of exacting justice available to those of us who have been wronged by men just like him. Reads the description. I wonder if these are females who owns a shop. What do you think?
I don't know. Let me see if I can...
I bet they're Baphomet. It says, he will be our focal point and by no means the only target. So bring your rage and all of the axes you've got to grind. And that's from the bookstore. Isn't that nice? Mm-hmm. And then, that's not all, Miss KAPOW. There's going to be a second ritual afterwards. Mm-mm. You know what that one's called?
No.
The Rights of the Scorned One. And that seeks to validate, affirm, uphold, and support those of us who have been wronged and refuse to be silent any longer, dang it. The Rights of the Scorned One. These sound like Hillary people.
Yeah, definitely.
These are magic libtards gone off the rails, man. Wow. And they're going to give 50% of the event proceeds will go to charity. They didn't say which charity, probably themselves. Yeah. 25% to the Ali Forney Center. And 25% to Planned Parenthood. The Ali Forney Center, by the way, is a homeless shelter and help center for just homeless people, Ms. KAPOW? No. LGBTQ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 youth. Of course, Planned Parenthood is America's largest abortion provider, and they kill babies. And also received $543.7 million in taxpayer funding.
That's a
for
lot
the
of money.
fiscal year of 2017. So this Kavanaugh Hex thing cost $10 to go. And about 1,000 people are interested in going and said they'll be there. And they're going to put a hex on our Supreme Court justice because they don't like the way life is going for them. Now, that's stupid people, really.
I typed in Catlin, but it doesn't really say much about who owns it or not.
Catlin's bookstore?
Yeah, but it has a lot of nasty stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't even want to look at it.
Yeah.
Fuchi.
Get rid of that.
Fuchi.
Get rid of the cookies, man. Cleanse that computer, Miss KAPOW. Click on that Mac keeper. Yeah. Hey, let's take a short commercial break, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the frogs.
Oh.
The frogs are falling from the sky on people's faces. Could you imagine? You're in the middle of the night and you're asleep, Miss KAPOW, and all of a sudden a frog falls on your face. And you got a frog right on your face.
No.
That'd be horrifying. Just like the Egyptians.
I think people will hear me scream all around the world.
Yeah. Be horrifying. Okay, we'll be right back.
I want to tell you about a project called Mesquite Cafe. Mesquite Cafe is a blues band, and their latest musical release is called Time's End. These songs are about dissatisfaction with the current world systems, hope in ultimate salvation, and warnings about apocalyptic destruction coming to the planet. Time's End by Mesquite Cafe can be found at digital music stores such as Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, Amazon, Pandora, Napster, iHeartRadio, and many others.
All right, we're back. That was quick, huh?
That was very quick.
I know.
Quickie.
This is from the Charlotte Observer. Yes. It says explosively breeding frogs. Explosively breeding. Wow. What a headline. They're literally dropping off or dropping from above in North Carolina. So the headline's a little misleading. They're not actually falling from the sky, but they're falling from rooftops and spaces and trees.
Yeah, from above.
From above.
So to speak.
So you're not coming from the sky, but still, it's not something that would be pleasant. This is after the Urkins. The Urkin over there.
Do you see on the video, the number is 133?
I see that. 133. Wow.
1 minute and 33 seconds.
See, that's a sign. I wrote a song called 1133 that I think everybody should listen to before they watch the frog video so that they don't get hexed by the witches. A population explosion of tens of thousands of frogs and toads. You know the difference between a frog and a toad?
I think one's bigger than the other, no?
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, these guys have emerged on North Carolina's coastal plain, and it was leading to social media reports of frogs found hopping on kitchen counters, crawling in beds, and even falling on people as they step outside.
But see, this is a sign. This is a sign because frogs and toads are unclean.
They are. And you have God using them as a plague against Egypt. They were plagued with frogs. Frogs were everywhere. Frogs were in their lentil soup back in Egypt before the Exodus, right? Mm-hmm. And then in Revelation, that book talks about these three unclean spirits that looked like frogs.
Yep.
Come out of the false prophet's mouth. Ribbit?
Yep.
So, it's an omen. This ain't by accident. None of this stuff's by accident. Mm-hmm. The mosquitoes that are 3 times bigger than regular mosquitoes, not an accident. Now in Florida, I just read an article today, mosquitoes are 5 times bigger. And they got zebra stripe legs. Yeah, like that's normal. Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah. Well, one of this unhappy resident said they're all over my windows, and I had one jump on my face lying in bed. Gross. And then this person said that there was another one found on the kitchen's cutting board. So he says they're everywhere. That's nasty.
So you're finding frogs in your kitchen.
That's nasty.
You're finding frogs on your face while you sleep. That's just, you know what? Right there, that's just too many frogs. There's too many frogs. Of course, they're blaming Hurricane Florence, the floods. And the article says biblical style plague. Mm-hmm. Wow. So they're linking, they're going back to Exodus. They said it's justified but not entirely accurate. What they're saying is what happened, says state biologist Jeff Hall. And he's got to know because he's a state biologist.
Mm-hmm. He's a learned man.
He's a learned man. He's educated. He says what happens is a convergence of 2 types of frog and toad population, explosions along the coast. The first wave is the tadpoles. You get it? And they're born during the abnormally heavy rains of June and July. The tadpoles. And then the second is a boom of explosively breeding toads like the eastern spadefoot toad that found a perfect habitat in tiny puddles created by Hurricane Florence. See, in this case, it can take only 2 weeks to go from swimming in a puddle to hopping around someone's yard, said Hall. He's an amphibian conservationist with the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission, so he knows what he's talking about. And he says to make things worse is the flooding. All these frogs are in search of dry ground, like your face. If you have a dry face, they're in search of it. And he says that's why they're showing up in places they don't normally go. I've heard of people stepping outside, frogs falling on their shoulder, freaking them out. Frogs love tiny cracks, so they get in door seals. So, if frogs like tiny cracks, they're going to get in the seals of your face, in your ears. That's what's happening. Mm-hmm. This one guy says, or she's a female, says she actually found one on a sliding door of a 4th floor deck, proving how high they can get. Really? You know?
I know.
You think that's normal? You really think that's natural? Mm-mm. 4 floors up, frogs are just climbing around. Check this out. This other person says there's photos and talk of frogs clinging to walls and windows and sticking like glue to moving cars for miles. Yeah. You got monstrous mosquitoes over there, and now you got frogs hanging around.
Not good.
This one gal says there's 6 to 8 of these frogs hanging on her kitchen window every night.
Wow. Oh, and they're just waiting for something to eat.
Yeah, they're hungry. Yeah. Wow. So anyway, the state biologist, he knows everything about toads and frogs. He's a frog expert. He predicts coastal residents will continue finding frogs and toads, dead and alive, in odd places until all the floodwaters recede in the 10 most impacted counties, which will be, months, if not longer, because winter's setting in, and we're going to have a heck of a long winter. Anyway. So can you imagine that? Frogs on your face.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Wow.
That's scary.
Well, yeah, that wouldn't be very nice.
I wouldn't like that. Mm-mm. I wouldn't want a spider on my face or a cricket on my face. I wouldn't want anything on my face when I'm laying in bed.
Yeah.
You don't want a frog.
You don't like insects, period.
Oh, I got insectar. I can spot a bug a mile away. Mm-hmm. That's right. I'm going to give everybody, I'm going to give them a tip from Uncle Paul.
I like your tips.
Yeah, my tips are good. And you really should write down my tips because it will save you heartache. Here's a tip. Here's a little tip from your Uncle Paul. If you live anywhere near a convenience store that posts a sign telling customers not to microwave their urine in the microwave ovens, you need to move because you're living in a very nasty place. Mm-hmm. A little tip. At least don't go into the convenience store and cook up your hot dogs in the microwave. That's just a little tip from your Uncle Paul. But apparently, this is in Florida.
Oh.
This is before the hurricane swept all these people away, apparently.
Yeah. Apparently this gas station owner actually had to place a sign in her store asking customers not to warm their urine samples in the microwave, specifying that the oven is only for warming food.
Well, the owner, Ms. Patel, said she's sick and tired of people walking into her gas station on the fly in Jacksonville to warm their containers of urine.
And then you're wondering, why are people doing this?
Well, apparently there is a drug center down the street where they get tested for drugs. So all these druggies are having clean people who don't do drugs piss in the jars for them. They go to the convenience store, warm it up so it's, so it's human temperature apparently. And then they go back to the drug lab so they can get their state government cheese or whatever they get. That's why they're doing it. And the people are upset. They're upset at her because she's telling them not to do that. Yeah. Patel said a woman, if that's what you want to call it, became very aggressive a few months ago when she asked her not to warm urine. And you know what the woman said to the owner of the convenience store? She says, I want to see a sign that says it's not for that purpose.
Okay.
How ignorant can a pseudo-human be? I want to see a sign that says it's not for warming up my pee-pee.
Well, see, I don't understand why these drug centers don't have you there peeing and then taking the cup.
Well, see, now you're starting to make sense. That would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, okay.
That would make sense. Yeah. That would make sense to say, well, before you get government cheese and food stamps or whatever you're going to get, you're going to have to pee in this cup to make sure you're not drugged. And here's the cup, there's the bathroom, and I'll stand behind the door. Well, I don't have to go yet. Here's the water bottle. You'll go within a half hour, right? Mm-hmm. I don't understand why you would let them bring, just like you said, why would you let them bring this in? Unless they're hiding it. That could be it. Maybe they're hiding. These are crooked people. Yeah.
Nasty. Wow. That doesn't make sense.
Ms. Patel says that she made a sign because that customer said, I don't see no sign. So she made a sign. She said that this lady started cussing at her. And she said, well, there's a sign that says you can't use this for this kind of purpose. Mm-hmm. Oh, she goes, where is the sign? There's no sign that says me I can't do this. So I'm going to, there's also a sign. There's no sign anywhere that says don't eat your own poop. Are you going to sit there and eat your own poop? I mean, come on. Well, then Ms. Patel said, that gave me the idea, and that's what you're asking for. I'll put the sign up that says, do not put your urine in the microwave.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Well, apparently, Ms. KAPOW, in May, there was a Denver woman. A woman from Denver, that's hard to believe, was suspected of heating a urine sample at a 7-Eleven store. And she was cited for damage to the machine. Yeah, store clerk heard a loud bang. And I don't know if urine can actually, well, it depends on what kind of cup it's in, I guess. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Wow. There's so much wrong with that story.
I know.
The fact that the sign, you have to do the sign there, the fact that people are doing it, or the fact that you even had these,
That she even has to put a sign like that. But people are nasty.
Oh, gosh. Well, you know what's really nasty? Satan.
Ugh. Yeah.
And Satan's filthy. Why does he love filth so much? What's up with that? Mm-hmm. Seriously, think about it. What is really up with the satanic filth? Why does he like that?
Because that's who he is.
No, it's really odd. It's really strange, This is from the Mirror, okay? So take it for what it's worth. But it says, diners offered 2-course meal topped off by dissection of a human corpse, which is in quotes, by the way. So people will stuff their faces with a 2-course meal before cutting open the realistic model of the human body. And this thing does look realistic.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so nasty.
Very creepy looking. One thing I noticed about this article, Ms. KAPOW, is there's a lot of, what do you call it? They're not real words. They're just, acronyms for words. You don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them in here. So I don't know what this is all about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But it says a group of dissectors, and I still don't really know why or who these people are, but they're a group of dissectors found a unique way of getting one's insides out. As they're offering people a 2-course meal and then topped off with the chance to get hold of a scalpel to dig out the insides of a human corpse.
Well, don't you think it's a lot like a video game? And after a while, you become desensitized to doing this to a real person?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is...
You know what I mean? Because if I went to a party, let's just say a Halloween party, and they had a make-believe, like those cakes, those baby cake, those cakes that are molded like a real baby, and then these idiots are cutting up the baby.
Yeah.
See, to me, that's already appalling. I couldn't do that. I could not do that. But if I decided, it's only a cake, and I do it, I'm going against my conscience. And after a while, it doesn't become that difficult anymore.
Yeah.
And that's like with anything else that they present to you. And I think this is another example of that. I think it's gross. I can't do it. I won't do it.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And you're right. It's that constant brainwashing, constant desensitizing. And people see it in the movies. They see it in the video games.
Exactly. Like in those movies, the gore movies and stuff like that.
Yeah. When
you're little or whatever and you see that stuff, you hide your eyes because it's just too gruesome, right? Mm-hmm. But then after a while you start watching. Well, now it's like, it's nothing.
Oh, yeah. All the gunplay and violence.
So I think this is something just as sinister.
Yeah. It gets... Yeah, well, there are some people like, hey, you've got to be kind of a sick individual to go to something like this. Mm-hmm. Even if you were a medical student, this ain't the way to do it. Mm-mm. You don't have a 2-course meal and then dissect a replica of a human being. And this replica, if you go on Facebook, our Fifth Hook Media, our Facebook page, you see a picture of this and it looks human.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable with the whole post-mortem look and the whole bit.
Fuji.
But I think even if you're a medical student, this would be beyond, kosher, what you would do. And off to the side of this article, if you'll look, there's...
Oh, yes, about that schoolgirl that's 12 years old.
Yeah.
That she ate a fried heart of a man that she killed, but she said it was too sweet tasting, so she tried the brains instead. Nasty.
12 years old. 12 years old. 12 years old. Okay. So back to the corpse. And what some may consider a stomach-churning choice of dessert.
That's wrong right there.
It is.
Okay? I like dessert.
Yeah.
This is wrong.
Anatomy experts who were featured on BBC's Dragon's Den, what does that tell you? Over the summer will allow for people to dissect an uncannily realistic replica of a human corpse. And this is in Cambridge, and they'll have a firsthand experience of chopping up. His name is Vivid, V-I-V-I-T.
See, what does that mean?
Yeah, we don't know, and it's all in this article, these little acronyms. So they're going to chop up Vivid, and he weighs 18 stones. I don't know what that is in pounds. And this was unveiled by, once again, the ITAE group. The ITAE group. I don't know what that means. But it's a company that specializes in organizing live anatomy events. What is that? What is a live anatomy event, and what is a company that organizes live anatomy events? It doesn't say anything like these are for medical students, or I don't. Is it just a party? Is it just like a bunch of sick vampire cannibal weirdos? Is that what this is?
Yeah. Well, I did the math. 18 stones. Okay, so 1 stone is equal to 14 pounds. So when you do the math, it's 252 pounds.
Wow. It's
yeah,
a big,
but this
big
guy's
cadaver.
a big guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of looks like Elvis. Like dead Elvis.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing.
It really does. It looks like dead Elvis has his...
Nasty.
Has
an
Elvis
ugly
hair.
one. Okay, the one.
Oh, man. Come on. Wow. While you're there, could you look up ITAE group?
Oh, sure.
Let's see what they're about. ITAE. So it says the chilling lifelike cadaver aims to provide a live human dissection like never before. Come on. Are you serious? So the next step, I mean, you can tell the next step is like, we're going to get a real human being if they don't already do that in secret. This is amazing. Now, when they have this event, the people will see a live patient rush through the crowd into the pod before being anesthetized in a state of panic. What is that all about? They're going to see a live patient in a state of panic before it's put to sleep. Oh, my Lord. I mean, this is so evil. This is such satanic witchcraft, and it's like it's a form of a ritual, a form of a human sacrifice.
Now, I come up with 3 acronyms for ITAE. One is Integral of Time and Absolute Error, which I know that's not it. The other one is the Institute for Theoretical and Applied Electromagnetism. And the third one is Intervention Through Arts Education.
That might be it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense. If you see the name Samuel Piri, Piri, he's the one in charge of this stuff. He's the CEO of that ITAE.
Samuel Prairie. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So Samuel Piri and his clinical team will broadcast on the live screens, taking the scalpel to the patient's chest. As the scalpel goes in and the incisions are made, the inside organs are revealed, and then the surgery begins. So why did they have to have the live person come in there screaming in a state of panic before he's put to sleep? You know what I mean? What is that all about? Man, so guided by Piri and his team, you'll systematically work your way through a complete dissection of the human body, attempting a variety of surgical techniques. Oh, and then it says uncanny footage shows the corpse getting its own haircut by a guy named James Dance, and he's the founder of a barbershop that also has an acronym. SFTW. And apparently that stands for something for the weekend. So this article, that's the third time they're using these capitalized acronyms for stuff. So this is very odd.
Mm-hmm.
And so this cadaver's getting a haircut, so he's all polished up for when the diners put their hands on him.
ITAE stands for Inspire to Aspire Events Limited. And he's a young man from Birmingham, United Kingdom.
Oh.
And he's a BBC Dragon's Den winner. That's who he is. After training in human anatomy at Sheffield Hallam University and the University of Manchester BGCE Secondary Science, Sam worked at secondary schools, becoming a lead practitioner in science. He has a history of developing and initiating new and innovative enrichment programs while maximizing the number of pupils who take it. And let's see, Sam went to establish the ITAE group in 2015 and quickly developed a successful company. He enjoys working in fast-paced environments and sharing. Basically, he uses different avenues for dissection, anatomy stuff, and all that.
But it doesn't say he was a medical student. It doesn't say he's a scientist. It just said that he had some schooling. This guy is nothing more than a Satan sucker.
Mm-hmm.
He's just sucking on the lips of Satan. That's all this guy is. And then once again, just like Maria, Abramovich, it's under the guise of art. Or now this is education. What kind of people are having a 2-course meal and dissecting a cadaver?
Yeah.
Whether real or not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
and apparently he's really succeeded in being an inspirational teacher.
Of course, because Satan, he's going to take care of his people while they're on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to give them the money, the fame, the fortune, and the means to carry out his satanic agenda, so that this person can help suck on the lips of Satan and take all these other idiots down to the pits of hell for eternity. Blind idiots. Unbelievable. And the fact that he came from some show, I never heard of it, called The Dragon's Den. I mean, that's got to tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
And guess where this is going to take place at? This Anatomy Lab live evening. You think it's going to take place in some warehouse somewhere? No. The Doubletree Hilton.
I know. Something.
That's amazing. And then they have pictures of the phony cadaver, but
Sickening.
It's, man. Yeah. Just really, really sick stuff. And for anybody else who would participate in something like this, unbelievable. But that just shows you where we're at, does it not? Sick freaking world.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. Good job finding out who this is.
Oh.
Yeah, amazing. Very successful, right? Successful. Why not? That doesn't surprise me.
And quickly, too, if you think about it.
Yeah.
2015, it's 2018 now.
3 years. Now he's a successful, thriving business, making all kinds of money. He's creative. He's innovative. Having these cadaver parties or whatever. Anatomy. And it never did say really why he does this. Because he has some schooling in it, so he figures, hey, I'll share how to dissect a human being to everybody. I don't see dissecting frog parties very popular. And it should be, because they're falling on people's faces. Right?
Yep, that's right.
Well, that's all I have to say.
That's all. We're done.
I've said enough. All right, give him a chow and we're out of here, man.
Ciao, baby.